Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of December 19, 2021. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week without a doubt. Now, in the very early hours of Sunday, if you're in the Americas, and later Sunday in the rest of the world, well, that is when Venus will officially go retrograde. This is an important moment. Whenever it is that a planet stands still in the sky and prepares to change directions, it is as close to the Earth as it is going to get. And that is powerfully symbolic of a magnification of its energies. And this is happening under the light of a full moon, the full moon that ended last week. And so we have this heightened sense of an energy of love and a desire of love that is going to be palatable in a lot of us out there. Now, of course, love is always available. I have come to understand that the universe is abundant in love, and being willing to recognize it can go a very long way in helping us to embrace it and experience it that much more often. But any moment is an opportunity to share love with another person, or even more. It is, of course, Venus changing directions under the light of a full moon, lots of emotion in the air, but that's not the only reason. Venus, of course, is hand in hand with Pluto, has been for most of the month. And as we get to the very end of the week, will again connect with Pluto with precision in conjunction. This is a defining characteristic, one of the defining characteristics of this Venus retrograde season. And the energy of Venus conjunct Pluto is operating all week and into next week as well. Now, there is, of course, a Venus retrograde special horoscope, and I will link to that below, where I talk all about this very important transit that is going to take us into next year. And next year really isn't far away at all. Now, the other big energy playing out, like, yes, we have some lovely, nice energies to start out the week. Of course, Venus going retrograde is a big deal, but we've got Jupiter speaking in harmony with the sun in a type of conversation that astrologers call a sextile. I feel like that's an energy of a nice lift, if you will, that can help us to feel hopeful and enthusiastic about the period ahead. On Monday, Mercury in Capricorn will trine Uranus, and that is a supremely harmonious connection. That can be good news all around that finds us as a collective. Capricorn has to do with big companies, big corporations, big structures, sort of the skeletons that hold our world and our societies together. And yes, some good news, surprising news on that front may transpire. And soon after, on Tuesday, well, that is when the sun will change signs and move into the sign of Capricorn. So happy birthday to all the Capricorns out there as Capricorn season begins. But before I dive into that or discuss that, I do want to focus most of this video on the very big and very important energy that is playing out. Christmas Eve on Friday is when we are going to have the final Saturn-Uranus square. Now, these two planets have been dancing in square formation throughout the year, but it has been February and June when we had the first two exact meetings of these planets. And now we will have the third and final exact connection between Saturn and Uranus before these planets move on. Now, next year, these planets are still dancing, but they don't quite get that precise connection like we saw over the course of this year. So some of the themes of understanding and integrating the way in which things have been and the way in which things are evolving and changing and so much more. Well, some of that energy may continue into 2022 as well. And so these are the ancient and modern ruling planets of the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius as an archetype speaks to new ideas, sometimes revolutionary ideas, what hasn't been done before, what hasn't been thought of before. It speaks to the individual, but also to the collective. It speaks to an understanding that we each can live how it is that we want to live, and we give each other permission to do that. But we are also together. We are also part of a collective, and particularly a world collective is part of the energy of this time. And so, how does that work for us? How does that fit in? What has been our understanding of what it means to belong to each other? What did that mean? What is that going to mean into the future? What does it mean to be yourself, to be an individual? What did that mean? What did that used to mean? And what does that mean going forward from here? What it means to be yourself, well, I think understanding that, well, your answer is going to change depending on the time in life, depending on your growth, depending on your evolution. And also, what does it mean to be free? Because freedom means different things to different people. And again, that's one of those principles that can mean different things at different points in one's life. And so all of us in some way have been trying to understand and reconcile whom it is that we have been and whom it is now that we are becoming or desire to be. All of us in our own way have been trying to reconcile and understand what freedom is going to mean to us, how we express it, how we live it, and how much we're going to allow that in others. What definitions are we going to allow in others? Now, ultimately, this is a square configuration, which does mean tension, but it also means activity. It means motivation. So often, when we have harmonious energies, we sometimes can think that things will always be great. And of course, in some ways, they can be, especially if you're connected to some core understanding of self or some sense of being connected to source. There is something constant within that we can find a deep and genuine peace and joy in. But life is movement, life is flux, and we need those ebbs in order to get to the place of the flow. And sometimes some of the most greatest and most rewarding gains we're going to make are going to be the ones that we earn. And how we earn them, well, that can take on different layers. Sometimes how we earn them is through personal challenges, personal growth, a willingness to face ourselves even when it's hard. And then sometimes we will earn them externally by overcoming challenges or continuing on a path, trying different ways to get to our goal and being proud of ourselves, regardless of where it is that we end up, even if it isn't exactly as we had envisioned. Perhaps it could end up being even better. And so here we are with this square, and all of us are being asked to, and have been asked to, look at what it is that we know within ourselves to represent freedom and our truth and our authenticity, and how are we going to live it? What is that actually going to mean to us? And in our own way, all of us have had to define that. It's been part of the conversation. It's been part of the collective consciousness of this time. And just like with Aquarius being highly individual, all of us have kind of come to our own answers. And that's how Aquarian energy tends to work. Given that Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, we are being asked to make real, to make practical some of those revolutionary ideas, to embody them in some way. Yes, to think for ourselves, but then also to live what it is that we think and what it is that we believe to be true, especially what we believe to be true about our own selves. And that sense of understanding who we are individually and living it, but also understanding that no one is an island We are ultimately social. And in many ways, I think that if the pandemic has shown us anything, is that borders kind of don't really exist. Because we as human beings, we have always, since our inception, human beings are over 200,000 years old, we have always been on the move. We have always traveled to other places, gone afar for one reason or another, whether it was our instinct, whether it was our passion, whether it was our desire, but most often out of necessity. We do that. We are meant to explore. The world is as expansive and as diverse as it is meant to be, so that we can know more of ourselves as we get out there that much more. And so we've come to understand that this idea of us and them, it kind of doesn't really exist anymore. The pandemic really showed us that, how intimately connected each and every one of us are, because of how it is that we all are here together, breathing the same air all over the world and all over the planet. Now, it is, of course, also this energy that can speak to the differing opinions as to how to approach the pandemic and the different ways of understanding the solutions. That's okay as well. We've been meant to have all these different perspectives and different ideas. Now, ultimately, it's when we can approach these different perspectives and ideas with a sense of at least patience for each other, well, that's when we serve each other and ourselves most. Now, remember, this energy of Uranus and Saturn can absolutely play out generationally as well, where Saturn can sometimes represent tradition, the way that things have been, and honoring hierarchies. Uranus can represent breaking free of those hierarchies. But Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius, having to do with new perspectives and new ways of thinking. And with Uranus, these new ideas can seem to come out of nowhere. So consider this. It is the holiday season for many people out there. And the 24th is Christmas Eve, and many people celebrate. And the 25th is Christmas. And as I said earlier, the 25th is when we are going to have Venus conjunct Pluto, a very intense energy in the sign of Capricorn as well. And so consider how it is that over the course of the holidays, when we are most likely to connect with each other, to gather together, that is when this energy is playing out, when we're most likely to interact with family and all that that brings, all the love it brings, but also all the ways in which, for some of us, connecting with family can push buttons, can lead us to see things in different ways that sometimes don't feel comfortable. But I think with this energy, it can go in so many different directions. We may end up being very surprised at some of the thoughts that some family members have. We may end up being very surprised at how progressive certain family members are. We may end up having to reconcile tradition and hierarchy with individuality, even when it's hard, even when it seems like it clashes. It's been so long for some of us when we've really been able to get together with family, really been able to connect with each other, that there's a very strong desire to do so. And that desire, I think, is represented by Venus meeting Pluto. That sense of love for tradition shows up there, but also wanting to bring heart to the established ways. But then what do you do when that has to reconcile with the desire to be free of them as well, to be free of the rules, to be free of the traditions? I think all of that is going to play out in our own lives, and especially within our own families as well. Now, if it is that you know certain family members push buttons, you know that, well, I would say practice self-care, nothing wrong with that, and do whatever it is that you need to do to take the best of care of you, because a lot of emotion is going to be stirring for a lot of us out there. Now, you add the other layer to this, right? Venus retrograde is notorious for bringing past loves back into the mix. And given that this is in Capricorn, especially where it is that those past loves were more established, more traditional bonds. So ex-partners, where there was actually a traditional marriage type of situation, or deeply established bonds that were a part of families. That is where we may find that sense of complication and entanglement and emotion, but yes, reunion that stirs us so deeply, that brings so much to the surface. And so with Pluto as well, things can feel very faded this holiday season. The desire for connection, for intimacy is so strong, and yet there's also awareness that some of us have walked the path of tradition before, and how we feel about that today. Do we want to continue walking that path, or are we going to go in a different direction, even if that other direction seems bold, and even if it seems unclear, at least just yet? What I love about this week for us, well, look, it's such a powerful astrological time and astrological moment. I think that big karmic lessons are coming to the forefront now for a lot of us. And by karmic, I mean, it's like our soul knows their time has come. That's what happens when these big outer planets are involved. Like the Saturn-Uranus square, there's something very karmic about what has been playing out this year. It feels like we are in the middle of some big shift and some big change, and we absolutely are. Think about how just a little bit further in this decade, Pluto is going to change signs. We are going to have Uranus change signs, both of those planets moving into air signs, out of Earth. And then we are going to have Neptune as well, moving out of water into fire. I spoke about these larger trends in the Decade Ahead horoscope, and I'll link to that below as well. But I mention it now because it's almost like we're gearing up for these big shifts and big changes that are right around the corner. We're going to start feeling these new energies in big ways in 2023 in particular. But now it's almost like us understanding perhaps what these other energies could be and what they're going to mean for us in our own lives moving forward from here. This holiday season is a powerful one. Now, whatever happens, of course, as I said, practice self-care. Take the best of care of you. But whatever does arise, understand that there is something that might feel divinely timed about it, especially if we can turn our attention to how it is that a particular moment is inviting us to embrace love or to embrace wisdom, or at least to ask ourselves, how is it that this moment might be part of my own or your own unique journey towards understanding love and wisdom that much more fully. That is part of the invitation of this time. And so whatever happens now, yes, some of it may feel like we don't have any power, that we don't have any control. That's part of Venus and Pluto, that's for sure, meeting in the sky. And that can be part of Uranus as well, squaring Saturn. There's a way that things have always been, and then here comes Uranus and says, nope, it's totally different than what you thought. There's a way in which we have felt stable and sure, and then here comes Pluto and says, nope, let's get to what's real. Let's dive. Let's go deep. Let's understand from the inside out, even when it's hard. But the thing is, some of the most rewarding journeys have parts of them that are hard. But also there's something very alluring about this time, very enlivening about this time. Something about this time now that reminds us that, yes, we are on a journey towards greater love and greater wisdom. And very often that journey takes us to and through our own selves. And it is there that true empowerment can take place. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys. And to prove it to you, here are some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who comments, who subscribes, who shares, who thumbs up. All of it means so much. I thank you so very much. And of course, if you want to know how all this wonderful stuff speaks to you in your sign, log on now to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you can get expanded, exclusive video scopes for each and every sign, each and every week for just $3 a month with choose your membership rate. Yes, that's just $3 a month. Now, higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. And this video is a little bit short because there's some kind of big wrestling event or something going on and lots of sirens going on outside. And they just decided to pause for a moment. But I was waiting for quite a while, like over an hour for the party to kind of pass, but lots of noise there. And I'm hoping that, I kind of tried to adjust the mic so it wouldn't bother us too much. But if it did sort of seep in, then let's just say it's part of the party. Let's just say it's part of Saturn square Uranus. I have teamed up with the Wei Wu Tai Chi Academy to celebrate the holiday season with 5 days of gift giving. There are thousands of dollars of prizes available. You do have to be signed up to my newsletter, and you can do that by going to the homepage at nadiyashah.com and scrolling down. And it is there that every day we're in the middle of sending out this holiday season gift giving. And lots of prizes have been given out so far. We've given out passes to Synchronicity University events and classes. We've given out Superstar memberships. We've given out the Venus retrograde special horoscopes that I'll tell you about in just a second. And so much more, along with prizes with our partners as well. And so please do check that out. Wonderful prizes are in store, and it is just a gift giving thank you to everybody out there kind of event that we are doing, that, and I'm doing as well, that is taking place. So I hope that you love it, and please accept my absolute gratitude, especially at this time, and accept the invitation to accept gifts. I hope that you absolutely love them. And like I said, Venus retrograde special horoscopes are up right now with Venus going retrograde at the very beginning of the week. It's a great time to get yours, just $2.99, or you can get them as part of your Superstar membership at nadiyashahsuperstars.com. So whether you want to get the download at nadiyashah.com, whether you want to wait to see if you win it through the giveaway, or whether it is that you want to sign up as one of my superstars at nadiyashahsuperstars.com. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your trust. Previews of these videos that run anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on sign, depending on how much inspiration and how much I had to say, all of that is there available now for download or to watch online. Links are in the description below. There are just 12 days left as we start this week, less than 2 weeks left to choose your tuition rate. Some incredible Synchronicity University events are coming up in January. So yes, like 12 days left as we start this week. A wonderful last minute holiday gift for yourself or for somebody else, as low as just $5 a class, which is an unheard of rate. And we've got so many incredible classes here. My own classes are going to take place this winter session. I'm going to be looking at different goddess asteroids, 2 classes on Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. We're going to look at her from the perspective of power and sex. We're going to look at Vesta. We're going to continue to look at Pallas Athena. I'm also going to look at the sun in the astrology chart. We are going to look at the ascendant and the midheaven, and also my very favorite class, just in time for Venus retrograde, is going to be astrological timing for beauty routines. And we are going to go there. Like, we are going to list all the different types of beauty routines that I can think of that my mom asks me about. And we're going to talk about it all. The best astrological times to get tattoos or piercings or cosmetic procedures or injectables or buy new clothes or get a new haircut or depilation or facials or whatever. Like, we're going to go there and we're going to have a lot of fun. You'll see my rationale behind it so that you don't necessarily need me to say, hey, this is it. You already know, like, okay, the moon is in this sign. This is what we're going to do. Venus is doing this in my chart. This is what we're going to do. This is the best time to do it. And I think that this is just going to be fun. If you've watched me for a while, you know I've got a very strong Venus in my chart. My mom does as well. And so we love all these Venusian things. So you are very invited to join. any of these classes as low as just $5 a class. My class is coming up this winter, January 2022 at synchronicityuniversity.com. Links are in the description below. The one and only Stormy Grace, YouTube sensation. She is coming to Synchronicity University, and I couldn't be more proud. I recently published a conversation I had with her about her class, Astrology Meets Business. Let's work smarter, not harder. This is a class I'm really looking forward to as well. And it really is for anybody, and such a great time of year if you want to understand prosperity and success in your chart. And whether you're looking at your business chart, whether you're looking at your natal chart, everyone is welcome. And whether it is you are thinking about starting a business and you want to find the best time to do that, you're putting together a business plan, a media kit. I mean, really, Stormy is the best person to teach this. She has a PhD in business. She's brilliant. She knows her stuff where it comes to astrology, and she knows her stuff where it comes to business. And again, I couldn't be more proud to have her at my school. I'm so glad for this partnership that we have. So yes, synchronicityuniversity.com. Learn from the one and only Stormy Grace. This January, choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class for just another few days. Link is in the description below. Synchronicity University January Speaker Series, January 2022. You've been getting to know the speakers this month and on my YouTube channel, and wow, what an exciting team that we have as part of the faculty of the January Speaker Series. Choose your tuition rate is on now for just a few more days, as low as just $5 a class. So who do we have? We have Maria Wander. She's going to be teaching cartology. We have Sol Jonathan. She's going to be teaching on the changing of the nodes. The nodes in January are changing signs. They're moving into the Taurus Scorpio axis. What is that going to mean for us as a collective and individually? She's going to be talking all about that from an evolutionary astrology perspective. We have got my friend Alex Trenowith, author of Mirror Mirror, and she is going to be teaching on actors and who portray famous people and the famous people and how their charts connect, which is what her book is about. And she's going to be looking at the royal family, the British royal family, and The Crown, the show The Crown in particular. So I think that's going to be so fascinating. We're going to have my friend Margaret Gray of Astrology Ireland, and she's going to be talking about healing past patterns in relationships that haven't worked and how to do that from an astrological perspective. And Darren Starr will be teaching career and vocation in the astrology chart. I think this is going to be an incredible and rewarding January speaker series at synchronicityuniversity.com. Sign up now. Choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class. Link is in the description below. And thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. I hope there wasn't background noise. As I said, I tried to adjust the mic to make it better, but we'll see what happens in the edit. But wow, I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful to have this holiday season with you. I'm grateful to be back in Mexico, my home in Mexico City. And just, wow, what a wonderful and incredible ride it's been, right, this year. And we're not done yet. Next week, we are going to end this year. Now, I do also want to add next week as a little bit of a preview. Jupiter is going to change signs. Mercury is going to go into shadow. All of that is happening on the 29th. And so wherever you feel inspired right now, go in that direction. And if you want to get some new stuff, go in that direction, especially at the very beginning of the week with that harmonious energy we have. And the energy at the beginning of the week of the Sun and Jupiter, well, this is going to be the last really important alignment that Jupiter is going to make before he changes signs. So wherever it is that Jupiter is transiting your chart, as I spoke to you about in the Jupiter and Aquarius special horoscope, that is an area that you do want to focus on. Do something, even if it's symbolic, do something to help you to feel like you made the most of this energy just before Jupiter moves on. And I'll be here to talk about all of that every step of the way. Thank you again. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.